City leaders now scrambling to figure out a way to clean up all that graffiti that you see there that's been tagged on most of the floors of a downtown
Who are the young
LA
people who vandalize America's cities?
It's weird because on one hand, graffiti is like almost the essence of pride. It's like, let me put my mark on the wall everywhere. But it's also this like infamy because you don't want to be known. You don't want to get caught. So it's almost just creating this this vigilante Batman kind of symbolism, the power of repetition, that someone sees your symbol over and over. So you want to be known, but you don't want to actually be known, you know? And I think people have wanted to leave their marks since the beginning of time. Since hieroglyphics, since cavemen.
Graffiti has always been an expression of the people. I think during World War I, World War II, you'll see the drawing of a guy with his nose over the wall and his hands, and it says Kilroy was here. And they say that that was during war, that this guy was going around spray painting, Kilroy was here, Kilroy was here. Kilroy was here. Like I exist, even though everyone's blowing themselves up, even though there's all kinds of turmoil in my world, here I am. And he'd put this little character with his eyeballs, with his hands over it. My name is Hex, TGO, FX, STP crew, in the city of Los Angeles since the 1970s. I was born into a place where there was a lot of police brutality, a lot of racism, a lot of profiling, a lot of economical classes and missed opportunities because you were the wrong nationality or you were the wrong culture. I was 10 years old. I started painting. I started putting up a tag. I started putting up my name in different places. Almost like, hey man, you know what? To society, I don't mean anything. You know what? To the rich and the pomp of the upper class of society, I don't mean anything. But I do exist. I am a person. And I started putting my name up different places as a reminder that I had been there.
Yeah, my name is Leba. I got into street art probably like 20 years ago, and it was basically kind of like a way to kind of like make my voice heard during like the Iraq and the Afghanistan war and everything like that. And there's just so many people that are getting killed for really no reason. So, you know, I went out there and I started doing my wheat paste and stuff like that, and it just kind of became an addiction. War is hell, and it kills everybody. It doesn't care about women or children. So for me, it was a way to speak out, and it's really powerful because you know, I think Banksy said it best, where it's like you can become as powerful as like a multi-million-dollar corporation with like a $4 can of spray paint and the piece of paper that you cut a stencil into.
What up? I'm Michael McFeeters, aka Mr. Mural, and way back when, aka Mark 1. I've been doing graffiti for over 35 years. You know, growing up as a kid in the San Fernando Valley, just always remember the smell of horse manure and spray paint, because we were always down in the reservoirs, always practicing, always getting our chops, always getting our styles. And eventually this led into full-on graffiti tagging world. We don't really like to use that word, but in the mid-90s, you know, we got into crews, and it turned into like gang warfare. And I think the guys who really were about the culture of hip-hop and the music and the fashion and the art really rose above that era and made it out alive, not addicted to stuff or in jail. And you know, we're seeing this renaissance now in the gallery world of some of these artists who made it out of the golden era of hip hop out of Los Angeles right now. I mean, dude, we used to do so much bad stuff. We used to steal cars all the time. Like, we were hitting the heavens, you know, hanging out the freeway signs, going out riding, bombing every night on freights and trains, getting in and out of trouble. That became fighting and pretty much gang activity and stuff, a lot of crime. And I was probably like 14 or 15, but started getting arrested, started having community service. Long story short, ended up on my 18th birthday, the judge threw the book at me and gave me a month in LA County. And this was really my scared straight moment. And this Christian sheriff found me and was like, "Oh, you're a tagger, huh?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm a writer." And he's like, "You ever done a mural?" And I'm like, "What's a mural?" And he's like, "I'm going to make you a trustee and you're going to paint a mural every day that you're here." I'm like, "Okay." And so he pulled me out of general population, may have, you know, saved my life in many ways. And that's exactly what I did. I painted my first mural in LA County Jail.
In Los Angeles, it was always what is considered a gray concrete jungle. A lot of people feel detached from nature because everything you step on is sidewalks and asphalt and pavement. And most of the time there's homeless dudes that took a leak. So what I would do is I would put up color in the grayest, in the most depressing and drab and smog and crime-ridden places to say, hey man, guess what? We exist, we matter, but there's also color in the world.
So yeah, growing up in LA, did graffiti, did art, got into the movie industry, and eventually, you know, was in raves and got heavier into partying, eventually got heavy into hard drugs, common story for many artists, many graffiti writers. And that became the battle of my life, fighting to get sober. I was in and out of treatment in my 20s, and long story short, ended up getting sober and dedicating my life to God. Ended up in seminary school to become a pastor. And it was in that time of healing in seminary school that I started going to Mexico. And it was in that time that I started, you know, this is about 13 years ago, so the buzzword human trafficking wasn't really around. But I was exposed to human trafficking and the aftermath of these kids. We worked with orphans, we worked with young kids who have been through prostitution, and it really changed my life. And when I came back to Dallas, things were just not the same. You know, I think this is where the responsibility falls into an artist's hand to speak a message. Like, artists are visual storytellers. And so we have somewhat of a responsibility to speak a message for someone, or to be the voice for the voiceless in many ways. So I knew that I wanted to do something. And mind you, I had gone through, you know, a decade of addiction, so I hadn't done really graffiti for a long time. And this was kind of the rekindling, the restarting, and changed the whole trajectory of my life. I started sneaking out in the middle of the night of seminary school to go do illegal graffiti again for the first time in like well over 10 years. And it was against human trafficking. I have a tattoo here, but this is the symbol. It's called Handle with Care Project. And the idea was to bring awareness and prevention to human trafficking through the arts, and I saw firsthand how art can heal people's lives.
Dude, art has meant freedom in life.
Man, I said this before in an interview, and it sounded cheesy then. It probably still sounds cheesy. Art saved my life. I mean, really, it has.
I have a brother who's like schizophrenic, and he was kind of like having a really hard time. And I went back he was living in Missouri at the time to try to help him. And I like lost all my design clients because I wasn't paying attention to anything but him. And dude, I came back to LA, like me and my bro were like eating out of garbage can. It was bad, bro. So I started selling it, and people started to buy my art like a lot, and like paid all my bills and stuff. And kind of at that point, I was like, maybe I could do this as a more like professional thing. I don't want to say like art saved me because it sounds kind of cheesy, but like in a lot of ways it kind of did.
I've been a crisis counselor, an art teacher for over 20 years for kids out of all the juvenile halls in Los Angeles. Art has meant everything in trying to give hope and transformation to these kids. It did it for me in my life. It gave me an entirely different course to follow in life, and it gave me the ability of expression, but it also gave me the ability to pay my bills. You know, every year I get different opportunities that arise within the world of art. You'll find that in hip hop, and you'll find that in the world of art, and they go hand in hand as they collaborate to transform lives, to transform society, and to be able to give us color in a greedy corporate world, in a world that needs more unity, it needs more freedom to express, and it needs more color. That's what art is meant to me.